Hey, what's up everybody? Will Mosby here, back with yet another video. In this video, I'm going to go over exactly how I boxed in and insulated the wheel wells on the tiny house. Let's go. Hey, before we get started, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and smash that bell so you can get notified every time I produce a new video. Alright, so one of the things that you have to do in any house, and this tiny house, is insulate it. And you can see kind of behind me, the whole thing is now insulated, and it's nice and quiet in here. It's like it's definitely dampens a lot of the sound. I've got some windows open just to get a little air. Sound does not travel very well in here right now, which is great. So the whole thing is insulated, always from the roof. The ceiling is R19. All the walls here are R13, and we did the subfloor in the very beginning, and it is R19.5 because of the rigid foam insulation that was in there. So anyway, got a weird half number, which is exactly what needs to be for passing inspection. But one common area for leaking air is the whole wheel well. Now the wheel well was longer than 8 feet, so I had to splice a couple of things because this was a 4x8 sheet of 1/2-inch plywood to build these boxes out of it. I decided to make a cut right here, and I kind of guessed because dead center on the window I've got a 36-inch cabinet for the kitchen sink that's going to be going in, so I just kind of measured over 18 inches, and that is where this line is right here, and that's where I broke this up, so it wasn't just a straight 8-foot piece and a little bit left over. That other side I could do that on, so because I didn't have to worry about it, because the other side, this little section that is broken up, is underneath the refrigerator and you'll never see it, so who cares. But on this one, this side was a little bit challenging. Not only did I have to get this break correctly so I could hide it in the seam of the cabinet, but I also had to come up with a way to find where the hole was going to be for, this is the kitchen sink drain, and down there is the propane gas line coming in, because that's going to serve the 4-burner or 3-burner, I haven't decided yet, stovetop, cooktop that's going to be up there. Okay, so I had to come up with a way to make this to where I can just kind of slide it on. Well, I couldn't put the whole thing together with the ends on and then just shove it into place, because we had to negotiate that piping that is down there. So let's take a look at it real quick. All right, so inside the box that I built here is R13 insulation throughout the whole entire thing, both sides. Okay, so it's fully insulated, and also used a lot of spray foam insulation just to seal up any kind of penetrations, any kind of holes, cracks. So it is very weather barrier, air barrier. So it's doing a good job. But down here, this is where the black iron pipe for the propane is coming in, and then also my drain for not only the kitchen sink, which is this way, runs right underneath there, and then it's going to drain right there, but it's also going to catch the little 24-inch vanity that is right here in the bathroom, and it's also going to drain and then goes underneath. But we had to create some piping and create a little gap right there, and it's not super pretty, but it's going to be hidden because the cabinet's going to be in here and sitting over the top of it. But I had to make it look somewhat pretty. I think I did a good job there. So I had to actually build the top and the front together first and had those connected. I couldn't put the end on, and of course there's not an end here on this one yet. This one was okay. I could go ahead and build that whole box right there, including the end, and slap it up there on the cleats. Yes, put some cleats up. That's going to actually keep you in alignment and guide you a little bit. I had a little cleat here on the end, and that I could butt up against, and I knew exactly where this end was going to hit. That way I could know where to put my hole, and that way I knew exactly where to put the hole. By having this brace, this little cleat on the end as a backstop, basically. So this thing pushed this way and backed up against that, and that made me set exactly where I needed it to be. Once that was in place, holes cut out, then I could come back in and cut this little piece here, and I just used a jig and jigged that out right there. Pretty simple. And that worked just fine. And then I could slide it in. Of course, you couldn't do this before. There's no way to do it, but I could slide it in place and then just kind of tuck it in and then staple it down. Now, sure, it still needs to be wood filled, caulked and painted, because it's going to sit within the cabinetry, the bottom cabinets. So it kind of needs to be a little bit pretty on there, because you are going to see it when all the cabinets are going to be on there. This side, this is where the stairway is going to be that leads up to the loft. So there's a bunch of little boxes called a Tanzu stairs. It's going to go right here, and it's going to fill this gap in this space right here. So this one needs to look pretty decent all the way up to about right there, because now from this, basically this point over, is going to be refrigerator, and I might do a custom pantry, like a little small one kind of right there. So might do a little custom pantry with a little slide out. Not sure yet when I get there, but I can't build the box for the refrigerator just yet. I want to wait until I get all the kind of the walls in, and that my barn door is going to sit right here and slide in. Want to make sure that I have the clearance there before I build any kind of box for the refrigerator. All right, so the first thing I'm going to work on is building the front and the top of the box, and just had that 4x8 sheet of plywood that I had Lowe's go ahead and rip down in half so it's easy to transport. And then I'm just working on cutting the front, cutting the top piece, and here I am gluing the two together. So there's our front piece and there's our top piece, and I have these really cool little 90 anchors that you can square some stuff up, and just using brad nails. This is an 18 gauge brad nailer from Ryobi. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad. Sometimes it gives me fits, but we're just going to use a 1.5 inches. I'm not sure. I think I used an inch, maybe 1.25 inches. Somewhere in that range will be just fine for nailing the two pieces together. And now I'm working on the smaller section, the small end of the entire wheel well box, and cutting all those pieces. And I'll glue and nail those exactly the way that we did the larger pieces. So now I'm just installing the cleats, putting those where they need to go. You can see the line there, and then there's a line on the floor as well. And what this is going to do is going to give me something as a backstop so the box can actually connect to. And here we are installing the longer section of the first wheel well. And I already dry fit it just to make sure that I had my measurements and everything was lining up the way that I wanted it to, and it did. So now I can go ahead and tack it down. So now it's on to the challenge of lining this thing up and finding out where I needed to drill some holes for the drain line and the gas line. Got that done, and now just dry fitting that and make sure it lines up correctly, and it did. So now we can go ahead and put the insulation on and go ahead and put it in place permanently and tack that down. So here I'm just using my speed square and putting it square against the back wall, which will give me a line of where the top and the bottom of these pipes are, so I know exactly where to cut this piece out. Next, I'm just going to use the jigsaw to remove out that section, use a little sandpaper, clean it up just a bit, and then we're going to test fit it. And of course, the cleat at the bottom was sticking out just a bit to where it wouldn't close up flush, so I had to use the multi-tool and trim that bottom cleat about 1/4 inch. But once I got that done, everything fit perfectly, and we were ready to nail it into place.
All right, hey, that's it for this video. Now, hopefully this has been helpful and you can go out and cut
cover your wheel wells and insulate your wheel wells now on your tiny house. If you happen to have one, I don't know why else you'd want to cover wheel wells anywhere else other than a tiny house, but now you should be able to. And I had a little bit of inspiration from another YouTuber that I saw how they insulated and covered their wheel wells, and I really liked their design, so I just basically copied what they did. I'll leave a link down to their video so you can see how they did it. He does a great job describing and going over insulation and how they insulated and covered the wheel well. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for helping me. So now hopefully this video can help you if you're in this journey of building your own tiny house, okay? Hopefully this has been helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.